Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Phoenix and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. Good Boy, 2025, Ben Leonberg. This film follows a man named Todd, and more importantly, his dog Indy. After a health scare sends Todd to the hospital, Todd decides that a change of scenery is needed. Moving into his grandfather's house, he and Indy are looking to recharge and make the best of their new situation. But Indy starts to sense that something is wrong with this house. With evil lurking around the corner, Indy must do everything he can to help his owner and keep him safe. There was a lot of hype around this film, and I can definitely see why this film is getting so much hype. However, for me, this film didn't exactly amaze me. As a pure filmmaking gimmick, I thought Ben Leonberg's passion project here is something to commend. Leonberg did a great job making sure the shot composition was squarely from the perspective of the dog. The angles were all super low and the frames were presented so the humans were only seen from the neck down, which is probably how a dog the size of Indy sees people when looking straight on. There is tons of flow to these sequences and it always has such a great sense of scale to it. On top of that, the editing did a great job with enhancing Indy's performance. Using what is known as the Kuleshov effect, Indy's reactions to things are often fairly blank. However, when you cut to something like a shadow, you are then mentally conditioned to think the dog is scared. Considering how much work went into getting this dog to do things, the fact that this film is so effective emotionally and that emotional resonance is created purely through basic editing is quite cool. Even with all the cheap jump scare nonsense in this film, I still connected with it emotionally on some level. However, beyond that, there isn't much about this film I was a huge fan of. Starting with the music rarely, if ever, lapses beyond being fine. It has that indie, no pun intended, droning post-rocky vibe that I am admittedly a fan of, but compositionally most of the pieces aren't memorable. The only piece that stuck with me was this one with a throbbing bass drum loop that played during the big climax. That piece was really intense. And for a modestly budgeted movie, Leonberg makes okay use of his resources. He managed to create a very dynamic setting out of his house and created some cool imagery with that. The demonic entity was presented in an interesting enough manner. It was a black shadow at first, then it became this mud-slicked person that, as a design, was quite unnerving. In general, it was kinda cool in terms of effects, and there was only one shot where Indy jumped through a door that looked kinda shit, but in general it was perfectly good. But sadly, in terms of the script, this story is very much carried by the gimmick. Take that away, it's not doing anything special. Like, the dog is scared of his owner being sick and dying. Cool. It's only emotionally effective because it's a dog and not some woman. Or, a man, if it doesn't matter. Like, it's the fact that it's a dog and not a human. You get the point. Anyway, the film was very obvious, and the spooky moments, again, only worked because of the gimmick. Thankfully, the cast carry this film. Obviously, Indy the dog was the best boy in the entire universe. What a good boy he was. Leonberg pulled out such a riveting emotional display from this dog, and you couldn't help but get attached to him. Shane Jensen plays Todd, Indy's owner, and he was pretty good, honestly. Showed great amounts of distress and physical pain. These two, this dog and this human, had a great owner-pet dynamic. So yeah, this is a film that will definitely play well with crowds, and for good reason. Ben Leonberg came up with a gimmicky idea and executed it pretty damn well. Plus, who doesn't like dogs? But once you strip this gimmick away, we find that Leonberg isn't exactly doing anything really impressive with the story he is telling. Still, I see lots of promise with this director, and if he continues to make movies, I would love to see him work with more money and bring to life another creative idea. Keep this film on the radar for a spooky season get-together. I'm feeling a 6 to a 6.5 out of 10 on this one. It's closer to a 6 than a 6.5, in my opinion. Catch you later, guys.